Breaking right now, King Charles has lashed out at Prince William behind the scenes for risking leaving the British public with a, wait for it, King Harry and Queen Meghan. So I'm going to take you through the details of this astonishing row, which has been revealed in a bombshell new royal book. Unfortunately, the publication of which and Prince Harry's decision to go on a rival tour to Canada this week has overshadowed somewhat some of these incredible images of Prince William at the Earthshot Prize. But of course, we are going to luxuriate in them as we go. We'll also get reaction today from our royal mastermind, Prince Harry and Queen Camilla's biographer, Angela Levin. But first, to this astonishing glut of revelations, how Charles reacted when difficult William asked if he could do fewer engagements. This is biographer Robert Jobson revealing the tension, secrets of Catherine's family life, and how the couple are making Prince George strong. But actually, for me, the biggest revelation was confirmation of a story that I have revealed for some time. Huge worries, really, fears, like terror within the British royal family that Prince William could be putting the monarchy at threat by continuing to transport his family together in helicopters, meaning that if all of them were wiped out, Harry would end up becoming king. And let me take you through Robert Jobson's reporting on this. He writes, palace sources recall all too well an incident when the prince was over-assertive with his father over a matter that William had completely misinterpreted. Even senior aides are known to tread lightly around the prince, mindful of his mood swings before attempting to raise sensitive issues. William may always appear to be composed in public, but insiders describe him as occasionally difficult to handle. According to close sources, the king believes William is sometimes hasty and too quick to dismiss sage, well-meaning advice. In early 2024, Charles was horrified to learn that William had flown his entire family in his helicopter, a habit that had already alarmed the late Queen. Had there been a fatal accident, and let's just remember, that happens more often than you think in helicopters, Harry would have immediately become heir to the throne. No one can prevent William from flying with his family if he wants to, but Charles wanted to drive his point home. So after his cancer diagnosis, he revisited the issue, instructing senior aide Sir Mike Stevens to obtain William's written acknowledgement of the risks. William refused, and his curt reply was sharp enough for Sir Mike to report it back to the king. These are not trivial matters for a king who has always loathed confrontation. The best way he has found of dealing with his elder son's occasional impetuousness or obstinacy is to delegate. What this means is that the monarch will often leave senior aides to raise tough work issues with William. Then there was the blip during Charles's meticulously planned coronation in 2023 when William turned up a few minutes late. The king was annoyed. His son's excuse was that he had been busy filming a video for his social media about the big day. Still, at least William had donned the correct ceremonial garments for the ceremony. As Charles knew, his son hadn't wanted to wear them at all, but he had conceded in the end for the king's sake. There has been no give at all on another clothing issue, the donning of a kilt. William refuses ever to wear one, despite holding various Scottish titles, including the Duke of Rothesay. For Charles, wearing a kilt is more than merely a tradition. It's a vital symbol of Scottish identity and of the crown his son will one day inherit. The king has repeatedly urged him, yet William won't budge, says the senior source. William has made it crystal clear to his father and to courtiers, even to Queen Elizabeth in her later years, that he is not in the traditional royal mould. Instead, he has redrawn the line between duty and family, at least until it's his turn to wear the crown. Now, there's much more to come from this book, but Angela Levin, let's jump in here, because look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a damn about Prince William not wanting to wear a kilt. That seriously doesn't bother me. For me, I just think Charles worry about bigger issues. That's William's decision. Where I do agree with the king, Angela, is that it is completely irresponsible for William to transport his whole family on helicopters, as we have been saying for years, because we have a very ill king who sadly will not be around for much longer, and the prospect of a King Harry and a Queen Meghan. I mean, come on, it would end the monarchy.
What if the loudest ambition in Montecito isn't a podcast comeback? It's a crown? On camera? Set the stakes. Critics say Meghan's PR has shifted from lifestyle influencer to royal in waiting. Big white dresses, soft-focused stateswoman shots, and timing that makes her look indispensable to any future royal narrative. The message her fans read, she belongs on the balcony. The message her detractors hear, queen energy without the job. Either way, every post and pop-up feels like a rehearsal for a role she was never cast in. Yet.
Yes, absolutely. I tell you, when I first heard that, the first one he went on, I thought, he's raving mad. He can't do that. You don't know what can happen in a helicopter. I'm frightened in a plane, and I just sort of doubled up about it. And for several nights, I was having a nightmare about it. And it just kept running through me. I think this is ludicrous. This is nonsense. We can't, A, allow a whole family to go, but 2, we don't want Harry, and we certainly don't want Meghan. So you have to be sensible. And I think you could do it in a nice way. The one child goes with his father.
But Charles tried and William refused.
Yeah, well, you just have to say, let's try and find a good way of doing it, that the children would like it. I can't imagine that his wife wouldn't be sensible about that at all. I mean, she's a very strong, sturdy woman, very helpful, knows about how to live within a royal family, and yet she didn't actually say that. Why not? I mean, they can be split up. Anybody can, but, they don't go far with the helicopter, but it could be absolutely dangerous. I agree with you, 150%.
I know, it's not often that I'm highly critical of William and Catherine. I think they make great decisions on the whole, but this is not one. Charles is right. William should not be on a helicopter or a plane, to be honest, or even a car with his entire family, because he cannot risk leaving the monarchy to Harry and Meghan. Absolutely not. By the way, Angela, it was sad to see King Charles today. I mean, a happy moment presenting or, officially making David Beckham a knight. But, oh, goodness, he looks so pale. And Robert Jobson does have new details about Charles's cancer diagnosis. He writes, since making his cancer public, the king has been reduced to tears, not by his plight, but by the thousands of warm letters he has received. Some were cards clearly made by children and covered in glitter or accompanied by a get well gift of Smarties. After years of a program from those who adored his late wife Diana, Charles was simply overwhelmed to learn that so many cared and wished him well. Indeed, his longer-serving staff have detected a change in their employer, whom they feel could occasionally seem rather cold. He's now become emotional, they say. Not only that, but he's changed some of the habits that once seemed set in stone, largely due to advice from Dr. Michael Dixon, a seasoned NHS GP and advocate of complementary medicine who was appointed head of the royal medical household after Queen Elizabeth's death. William, too, has urged his father to slow down and learn to listen to his medical team. So Charles now takes regular afternoon naps, and he's started having lunch again, often spinach soup, after skipping the meal for most of his life. Before being diagnosed with cancer, he had been typically stoic about his mounting levels of pain. Months before his condition had worsened so dramatically, says a royal aide, that a doctor was summoned. The king was given morphine, fitted with a catheter, and taken to Aberdeen Hospital. The cancer, however, was not discovered until a few months later, in January last year, while doctors were in the process of treating the king for an enlarged prostate. A few weeks down the line, it was announced that the Princess of Wales was also suffering from an unnamed cancer. Having 2 leading members of the royal family struck down at once seemed a malign twist of fate, and Prince William was shaken to the core. And then Robert Jobson moves on to a very interesting point, one that will give a lot of hope to those of us who have been worried about Prince William's lack of love for the Church of England, because he writes, as the year progressed, both he and Catherine became more religious. Never known as a regular worshipper, William now attends church more frequently than in the past, though as privately as possible. Last year, he also told his father that he wanted to cut his own official royal engagements back to 10 for the rest of 2024, but the king refused his request. Think again, he urged. Although Charles often jokes with friends about reaching that worryingly decrepit stage of life, he has continued to work hard while continuing his cancer treatment. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla has stepped up the number of her engagements, emerging as a steady force during a time of royal uncertainty. There's a little dig, though, in regards to the video that Catherine released once she was in remission from cancer. And Jobson writes, the footage showed the Wales family affectionately enjoying time together in Norfolk on the beach and in the woods, and many found it moving. Queen Camilla's reaction, she was deeply relieved, of course, at Catherine's recovery, but according to a senior household source, she also joked with friends, very much tongue-in-cheek, that the video was like a shampoo commercial. These days, William and his father generally work well together. The king happily consults them and largely trusts them to do what is right, but there is often an underlying tension between them. It doesn't help that both have a fiery temper that's not always held in check. Working for Charles, some staff say can be like treading on eggshells. So, Angela, a huge amount to pick up there. I mean, very interesting to me that William is becoming more religious. I mean, this is so important, Angela, if he is going to head the Church of England.
Yes, well, I thought when they started being very keen on nature, that going to church would follow, and he would believe more, because he would imagine that Catherine has recovered somewhere outside of actually a medical person, and the thing outside is God, if you believe in God. So if you feel that thank you very much to God for helping her to get through it is a very important part of anyone who's had someone they really love and they want to help them get better. And I think that Catherine feels this as well. And when you look at the nature, it's not what you do, it's what happens in this world by something well beyond any of us. And that can make you feel well, the gentle wind, the sun, the plants. And I think that she's felt that enormously, which she has said. And I think William has come too. And the interesting about this is that people don't stay in the same place. You know, he's now quite an older man, he's not a teenager, but people do change. And so he could change about even putting on his Scottish skirt, you know, at some point. I think people do change. They don't just think, they think about things.
I think the kilt's one step too far for William McKay. But look, Angela, we have seen, look at these scenes. I mean, what a wonderful job he has done in Brazil. You know, the beached whales, people are calling him, and just amazing footage of him taking his shoes off and just going for it in terms of the volleyball. I know, it's just amazing. And he has done so well. But of course, it's so sad. I mean, look at that, Angela. Off comes the shoes and he's just going for it. And obviously, this is such an important event for William, the Earthshot Prize in Brazil. He was having a great time, but he's also conscious, of course, that it has been a disastrous couple of weeks for the British royal family in terms of the Prince Andrew news. And it was so important that positive pictures and positive headlines and positive work went around the globe. And with these images, that's definitely happened, Angela. Until, of course, Prince Harry yesterday decided to continue his pathetic war with William. And I want to take you through Tom Sykes' reporting on this. He writes, brothers at war, William's beach volleyball diplomacy undone by Harry's remembrance gambit. And he says, while William was volleyballing with Brazilian Olympian Carolina Solberg, who later declared him amazing to play with, his younger brother was half a continent away, firing another broadside into the family feud. Harry's announcement issued almost to the minute that William's plane touched down in Brazil. So do not tell me that this wasn't a coincidence, that this was a coincidence. It wasn't. Laid out a slate of remembrance-themed engagements in Canada beginning Wednesday. That's tomorrow. The same day the Earthshot Prize will be awarded in Rio. That timing, royal aides say, was not lost on anyone. They are not believed to have spoken, the brothers, in more than 2 years. Each wants to define himself in opposition to the other. William, the dutiful global statesman, Harry, the emotionally attuned activist. But the strange symmetry of their schedules this week feels almost operatic as they stage their convictions before a global audience. William's people don't believe in coincidence, one source told Tom Sykes. They believe in choreography. Harry knows exactly what he's doing. Tensions have been heightened by allegations first reported by the royalists and since picked up by the global media that the Waleses intend to revisit the question of Harry and Meghan and their children's titles once William becomes king. For years, courtiers maintained that revoking a royal style was impossible. That illusion vanished when King Charles stripped Prince William of his Royal Highness title by letters patent last week, proving that what the monarch grants, the monarch can just as easily withdraw. Friends of the couple say the Wales' machine is preparing to redefine the family's outer circle in anticipation of the next reign. One said William wants a slimmed-down monarchy and Harry doesn't fit the silhouette. Still, it would be wrong to imagine Harry is acting out of sheer spite. Those close to him describe the Canadian engagements as a sincere extension of his lifelong identification with soldiers and remembrance culture. Yet sincerity has never insulated him from criticism, particularly when his timing offends the sense of royal hierarchy. As the former Palisade remarked acidly, Harry's always been convinced that duty means doing what feels right to him, not what the crown requires. And Angela, I think this is just completely despicable of Prince Harry, trying to ambush his brother like this.
Cut to the feud. William lands in Brazil for Earthshot, global statesman vibes. Almost simultaneously, Harry rolls out a remembrance tour in Canada. Coincidence? Insiders whisper no. William sees it as stepping on his headline. Harry sees it as owning his lane. Sources say the brothers barely speak, and when they do, it's tense. William's camp. Stop counter-programming the air. Harry's camp. You don't own the calendar, or me. Result. 2 parallel courts, 1 crown, and 0 trust.
He is despicable, isn't he? I mean, I think that's good enough to sort of wipe off their titles. It's disgusting if they can't do something that is threading in a way. But also I think that the royal family should keep a watch. And actually, when they're going somewhere, you ring the charity up and you say, look, you know, he's got no power, he has no responsibility, he's coming here so that you pay him a lot of money, Meghan gets clothes, but please, this is not responsible, this has nothing to do with our family, so can you please cancel it? And I think that's right. You can't actually start pretending you're someone. They've done it before, haven't they, when they went off all over the place, pretending that they were real, live, very, very clever royal subjects. But they're not. They're just ordinary people now and have no power. And so there's no point in them going. They can't help them with finance or kindness or anything at all. What they do is to show off Meghan and say how beautiful she looks because she changes 3 times a day. And Harry feels that he's going back into being, you know, a prince. But he's not. He chose not to, and he can't. So I think we have to have someone looking what he's doing and find out and then cancel it or get rid of him.
Angela, I've got to ask you about Meghan's desperate bid to continue pushing Was Never, as I call it. So we've got her new launch, and the new launch, Angela, is because With Love Meghan is being axed, she's going to make short little videos, okay? But this one has been mocked all around the world because effectively what she's doing to try and punt her hot toddies is telling us how to make like a cup of tea, basically how to put tea bag in some hot water. That's not to mention the fact, Angela, that I'm very offended that she doesn't want to celebrate Christmas at all. She keeps on using this term holidays, which is a woke term really that has been used, I think, to erase Christmas, which is our Christian celebration. But I think we've just got to laugh at this, Angela. Watch the video and I'll get you to react off the back.
Okay, so for holidays, I love having a really cozy, warm beverage that everyone can enjoy. And you could do teas, but you could also do a hot toddy or a spiced cider. I like to make a big pot for everyone. It's so easy. All you do, boil some water, enough for 8 servings, 10 servings. Once it's at a boil, turn it down, take the entire contents and let it steep in the pot. Now, what happens when you do this? When people come into your house, they go, it smells so good. What is that? And go, oh my gosh, let me offer you a drink. And then I would just add a couple details here to just embolden the flavor a bit. Honey adds a really special note. Cinnamon stick is so nice in there as well. You smell the cinnamon, you smell that lemongrass. You could also add a spirit of choice to make it a little bit more grown up, but just on its own, it's the most soothing, especially in cold weather.
Angela, it's just so embarrassing.
Well, I mean, if this is what she calls cooking, my name's not Angela. I mean, it's just ludicrous. But what she's doing, all her prices, I went through how they were in comparison to the king, who's doing something at the Royal Collect Trust with the same sort of things. His are less than half than her price. And the money goes to charity. She's more than double him. And she has all the money for herself. So which one are you going to get? Her name doesn't mean anything anymore. Why should you have something with her name? And just some jam or honey or a hot drink on a cold day. I think we all know about that, don't we? It's not so clever.
This is the pressure cooker. Reports claim Charles privately fumed that William flew the entire Wales family together. Why it matters. Succession math. A single catastrophe and the spare becomes the heir, with Meghan back in the frame at the very top. That idea alone, commentators say, is what keeps senior royals awake. A fast-track scenario where Meghan's profile, power, and proximity skyrocket overnight. William, protective and stubborn, bristles at being told how to travel. Charles, risk-averse, sees existential danger. Harry, watching from the sidelines, knows one twist of fate could rewrite his life. And that's the argument beneath the arguments.
No, it really isn't, Angela. And I guess there's just such a contrast, isn't there, between the two couples? Because what has emerged over the past 24 hours is that William and Catherine have moved into their new home from Adelaide Cottage. But listen to this, Angela. They threw a party for all of the people who had helped make this move as smooth and as quick as possible for them, because they were desperate to get in there as soon as possible. And here's the revelation from the Daily Mail. The Prince and Princess of Wales laid on a thank you party for the builders and staff who worked tirelessly to get them into their new house early. William and Kate served drinks and nibbles at the York Club, a private pub near Forest Lodge, their forever home in Windsor Great Park on Friday. The venue is a members-only club for residents and employees of the Crown Estate, which manages much of the property on the estate, including the Wales' own. It came as the couple and their young family officially said a final farewell to cursed Adelaide Cottage. But what did you make of this, Angela?
Well, I thought it was charming. They decided they didn't want to have it done at Christmas. They wanted to have it done in half term, and that would settle the children in an easier way. And so the builders would have to work far harder and quicker. And she was very grateful. So she made a few bits and pieces, or I'm sure she didn't do it herself. And if she did, I'm sure they were very nice. Not that we'd all taken the same thing 10 times before. And it was just charming. And I think when they say that about Adelaide House, it's very, very sad, because it was a sort of an unlucky home. That's what they feel. There are so many illnesses and deaths coming from them that I think, again, this was something to do with culture and nature and all that. They had to get out and have a place where they can start all over again. And that's what they've done. But the other thing is that it's bigger. I mean, the children are much bigger. They might want friends to come and stay. And so it is a bigger place, and it's got a pond and tennis courts and all sorts of things that families of that type would like to have. And I wish them every happiness in there.
Angela, can we just take a look a bit more at William in Brazil overnight?
Great.
Because it's just so good to finally see something positive, isn't it, Angela? And it sort of harkens back, I think, to the William that we saw in London during 2012, during the Olympic Games, when he and Catherine just had that absolute joy and there was such a positive spirit.
And they were laughing such a lot, weren't they, at each other and with each other?
Yes. And do you think, was it almost a relief for William to get away from London and the United Kingdom, because there's been so much heaviness here over the past couple of weeks? This was him doing football as well, Angela, which he did before the basketball. There's been so much heaviness over the past couple of weeks because of the decisions that have had to be made with Prince Andrew.
Yes, of course. This is a great way of letting it all out of you, letting it all go, no more rows, and just do the things that you really want to. And of course, he's delighted to be there. He's been received with enormous joy. And several people sent me short sort of emails saying, gosh, he's so handsome, he's so nice, he's such fun, he smiles, he's so clever, Oh, it's wonderful. Not sort of very good English. They weren't English, but, they wanted to say something that what a lovely man he is. And he could really be himself because he'd be delighted that he'd moved. It's very exciting. Delighted to be there and looked smart when he needed to be. And then absolutely was very sort of active when he's nearly falling over. Then he does a wonderful movement and he's sort of get up very, very carefully. Yes, you see, it doesn't look like a prince, does he? But he wants to show that he is real prince because he tries hard and he wants people to join in and he wants people to have fun and he wants them to laugh. So I think he's great.
Yeah, and I definitely think, Angela, William is getting better with age in a whole load of ways. And Harry isn't. Harry looks miserable and looks old, and maybe William did have those awkward few years. And I know as a man, it's really difficult when you lose your hair, right? But now he's sort of comfortable about where he is.
Yes, but also he's very satisfied with his wife. He's very happy with her. His children now are in an age where you can have enormous fun and very good conversations with them and see what their characters are. So it's very thrilling to have that. So he's pleased about that too. And I'm sure Catherine is getting well because he seems so happy. And I think that that's very nice. And if he's losing his hair, well, he could always try and get the stuff that you can put on, but he doesn't want to. So good for him.
Angela, do stand by. We're going to move over to Substack now, where we're joined by my very good friend, Lady Victoria Harvey, because I think it's really important to have a conversation about Prince Andrew from two different perspectives, but without a lot of the hysteria that we've been seeing in the mainstream media over the past few weeks. So to watch Angela Levin and Lady Victoria Harvey, www.outspoken.live. Of course, the uncancelled Royal After Show available every single weekday. And it is on a platform protected by free speech, which is very important to me. So to watch that full episode right now with no advertising whatsoever, live or on demand, the address www.outspoken.live.
William wants a tighter, quieter monarchy. Harry and Meghan want independent star power that still cashes in on royal relevance. Meghan's critics call it queenly cosplay. Her supporters call it owning her narrative. Meanwhile, the palace plots a future with fewer working royals and fewer surprises. Final beat: if William keeps winning the optics war, Meghan's queen storyline stays aspirational. But if the calendar clashes, PR stunts, and succession scares continue, the firm faces its nightmare trailer: two rival courts competing for a single storyline, and Meghan front and center in the sequel. Disclaimer: this video is commentary and opinion based on public reporting and social media posts. All individuals are presumed innocent. Disputed claims are alleged.